This lesson is proudly brought to you by Kagiso Trust in partnership with the Limpopo Department of Education and Capricorn FM. Kagiso Trust, overcoming poverty.
So, today we are speaking to future landowners. All right, so for today's hashtag Kagiso Radio Teacher Catch-Up Lesson, we are joined in studio by Mr. Mpapuri, and today he's going to be focusing on agricultural sciences, term 1, feed components. Ralo chap.
Thank you, Program Director.
Yes, that's me. That's us, actually.
As for me.
Good afternoon, Capricorn FM listeners and grade 12 learners. My name is Mr. Mpapuri MT from Limpopo Secondary School. Today we're going to discuss about the following topics under paper 1. The first topic is digestibility of feed, energy value, biological value, nutritive ratio, components of feeds, and fodder flow program. Then if you have questions, you can WhatsApp them on 082 654 2446. Let me start by the first topic, which is digestibility of feed. Then when animal eats food, not all of the food eaten is digested and absorbed by the animal. Then digestibility of feed refers to the portion of feed that is ingested, digested, and absorbed by the animal for body function. Then this digestibility of feed is expressed as percentage of dry matter and expressed again in percentage. Digestibility is expressed as the percentage of dry matter and in percentage. Then let us look at the factors that determines digestibility now. Number 1 is composition of feed, composition of ration, preparation of feed, type of animal, the quantity of feed ingested, and the age of the plant eaten. Let's go back and look at how the factors determine digestibility of feed are explained. Let us look at the composition of feed. The higher the feed content, the lower the digestibility. Or the higher the crude fiber, the lower the digestibility. Composition of ration. A barley differs in digestibility according to whether it is eaten with hay or with silage. Preparation of feed. Cows digest crushed maize better than whole maize. Type of animal. Ruminant will digest feed better than non-ruminant. Then the quantity of feed ingested. A high feed intake will result in the rapid movement of food through the alimentary canal. This will lower the digestibility of feed. Then the last one is age of plant. Young plants are more digestible than older plant. These are the factors that determines the digestibility of feed. There are 6 in number: composition of feed, composition of ration, preparation of feed, type of animal, the quantity of feed ingested, and the age of plant eaten. Then let us look at the process that improve digestibility of feed. We've got 5 processes that are used to increase or to improve the digestibility of feed. The first one is grinding of feed. The second one is boiling. Third one, pelleting. Fourth one, roasting. And the last one is crushing. These are the processes that can be done in order to improve the digestibility of feed. I will repeat them: grinding, boiling, pelleting, roasting, and crushing. Then let us look at this word called coefficient digestibility of feed. Coefficient digestibility of feed is the percentage of nutrients that are digested and absorbed by the animal. I will repeat this. Coefficient digestibility is the percentage of nutrients that are digested and absorbed by the animal. Then here, dry matter, all the parts of ration except water. In other words, this calculation is calculated as what? As dry material. And what are dry matter? Dry matter are all parts of the ration except water. Then let us look at the procedures that are used to calculate coefficient digestibility of feed. Then we've got the following step that must be followed. Step number 1, you calculate the actual amount of dry matter and moisture in the feed sample. Number 2, you subtract the amount of moisture in kg from that feed sample. The difference will be actually quantity of dry matter intake by the animal. Step number 3, you calculate the quantity of both dry matter and moisture in kg in the feces as different. Step number 4, you subtract dry matter quantity of excreta from the dry matter quantity of the feed taken by the animal. And step number 5, you express the difference as percentage of dry matter quantity taken in, and B, the percentage indicate how much feed has been digested and absorbed by the animal. I will repeat these steps because they are very much important when dealing with this calculation. Step number 1, you calculate the actual amount of dry matter and moisture in the feed sample. Step number 2, you subtract the amount of moisture in kg from that of the feed sample in kg. The difference will be actual quantity of dry matter intake by the animal. Step 3, you calculate the quantity of both dry matter and moisture in kg in the feces as the different. Step number 4, you subtract dry matter quantity of excreta from the dry matter quantity of feed taken by the animal. Then step number 5, express the difference as percentage of dry matter quantity taken in by the animal. And B, the percentage indicate how much feed has been digested and absorbed by the animal. For an example, let's take for instance, a cow consumes 12 kg of whey with moisture content of 9%. Then the cow excretes 5 kg manure with moisture content of 60%. Then the question will say calculate coefficient digestibility of feed. Then what we are expected to do, we must extract moisture first. When we look at the question, a cow consumes 12 kg of whey with moisture content of 9%. We've got moisture content of 9%. And the cow excretes 5 kg manure with moisture content of 60%. As I have already said that our calculation is calculated as dry matter. We must first extract moisture. Then how do we extract moisture? We are going to say 9 kg. We're going to start with 12 kg multiplied by 9. 12 kg is the amount of whey consumed by the animal. 9 is the 9% of the moisture in 12 kg. We're going to say 12 kg multiplied by 9 over 100. Then the answer is going to give us 1.08 kg, which is 9 kg of the moisture. Then because we are in need of dry matter, we are going to subtract 1.08 kg from 12, remaining with 10.92 kg, which is our dry matter taken in by the animal. The same applies to the manure excreted. We are going to say 60 multiplied by 5. 5 kg is the one which is excreted by the animal, 60%. We're going to say 5 multiplied by 60 over 100, which is going to give us 3 kg as moisture from the manure. Then we subtract 3 kg from 5, and we're going to have 2 kg as our dry matter excreted. Then we are now going to the formula of the calculation. The formula of the calculation says CDF, which stands for coefficient digestibility of feed, is equals to dry matter intake minus dry matter excreted over dry matter intake multiplied by 100. I will repeat the formula because it's very much important. Coefficient digestibility of feed is equals to DMI minus DME over DMI multiplied by 100. DMI is dry matter intake, DME dry matter excreted. Why do we multiply by 100? We multiply by 100 because it is expressed in terms of percentage. Then in our case here, we are having 10.9 true minus 2 kg over 10.9 kg multiplied by 100. Then the answer is 81.68%. Then what does this 81.68% mean? It means that from the total feed eaten by the animal, 81.68% was digested and absorbed by the animal. Then let's switch over and look at energy value of feeds now. Let us look at the energy value of feeds. What is energy value of feeds? A major portion of feed is used for the production of energy for the animal. Then the diagram below represents the energy lost from the feed. Then we've got 4 energy values. The first one is gross energy, digestible energy, metabolic energy, and net energy. Then as the energy proceeds downwards, the energy is lost. For an example, let us look at the first energy value, which is gross energy. What is gross energy? Gross energy is the total amount of energy released as heat when a feed is completely burnt or oxidized. It means after cellular respiration, the energy which is produced is called gross energy. Then from gross energy, we have got digestible energy. Digestible energy is the gross energy minus energy lost via feces. Then we've got metabolic energy, which is the metabolic energy is the digestible energy minus energy which is lost with urination as well as fermentation gases. Lastly, we've got net energy, which is metabolic energy minus energy lost as heat. These are the 4 energy values that are found in agriculture. Then let us look at the calculation to calculate the energy flow and how the energy is lost from one energy value to another. Determine the net energy that a cow will have after consuming a feed that has 100 kg of energy. 30% of the energy consumed is lost in the feces, 8% is lost as methane gas, and 5% is lost in the urine, and 30% is lost as heat. Then we are supposed to calculate the net energy. We are supposed to calculate the net energy. Then we are going to say the total heat or the total energy produced is 100 kg. Then the total heat lost, we have got 30 plus 8 plus 5 plus 30, which give us 73. Then we're just going to subtract 73 from 100 and having 27 kilojoule as our net energy. Then let's switch over and look at another calculation, which is called Nutritive Ratio. Then what is the main aim of this calculation? The main aim of this calculation, we want to know the protein content of the feed. The farmer wants to know the protein content of the feed. Why protein? Because protein plays a major role. It plays a major role in agriculture because it's there for reproduction, production, and growth. Then the formula of this calculation is as follows. Nutritive ratio is equals to 1:2 because it's a ratio, percentage of non-digestible nitrogenous substance over percentage of digestible protein. I will repeat the formula. A nutritive ratio is equals to 1:2 percentage of non-digestible nitrogenous substances over percentage of digestible protein. Then let us look at this activity. A feed has a total digestible nutrient, which is TDN value of 75%, and its digestible protein value is 10. Then the question says, calculate the nutritive ratio of this feed. Then what we are supposed to do, you are supposed to find the DNS. Then what is DNS? DNS stands for digestible non-nitrogenous substances. When we look at the component of feed, we have got carbohydrates, lipids, and protein. Carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Even lipids is made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. But protein, it is made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. That's why carbohydrates and lipids are called digestible non-nitrogenous substances, because they do not have nitrogen. Then in order to get the DNS, we have got TDN of 75%, and our DP is only 10%, which means we subtract 10 from 75, having 65 as our DNS. Then the formula says nutritive ratio is equals to 1:2 percentage of digestible non-nitrogenous substances over digestible protein, which means we are going to say 1:65:10, which is going to give us a 1:1,65 as an answer. Then how do we interpret this nutritive ratio? We have said the main aim of this calculation, we want to determine the protein content of the feed. Then how do we determine the protein content of the feed? A nutritive ratio which is less than 1:6%. Nutritive ratio less than 1:6%. It is called narrow nutritive ratio. And it is very rich in protein. And it can be given to the animal for the following reasons: production, growth, and reproduction. I will repeat this because it's very much important. A nutritive ratio less than 1:6, it is called narrow nutritive ratio, rich in protein, and it can be used for the following: production, growth, and reproduction. Then a nutritive ratio which is more than 1:6, it is called wide nutritive ratio, and it is poor in protein, and it can be given to the animal for the following reasons: maintenance, fattening, and energy supply. This is how we determine the protein content of the feed. If the feed is having a nutritive ratio of less than 1:6, that means that type of nutritive ratio is rich in protein. But if it's having the nutritive ratio of more than 1:6, which means that type of feed, it is poor in protein. Then let us switch over and look at types of feeds now. Let us look at the types of feeds. We have got two types of feeds. concentrates and roughage. We've got two types of feeds that are concentrates and roughage. Then let us look at the difference between the two. The difference between concentrates and roughage. We've got 5 differences between concentrates and roughages. The first difference, concentrates are given to animal in small quantity, while roughages are given to animal in large quantity. In other words, concentrates are not bulky, while roughages are bulky. Then concentrates are easy to digest because they have got less crude fiber, while roughages are difficult to digest because of more crude fiber. Suitable for non-ruminant. Concentrates are suitable for non-ruminant because they don't have microorganisms to digest crude fiber, while roughages are suitable for ruminant because they have got microorganisms to digest crude fiber. High nutritive value, concentrates, while in roughage we've got low nutritive value. Concentrates are expensive, while roughages are cheap. These are the 5 differences between concentrates and roughages. Let me repeat them because they are very much important. Concentrates given to animal in small quantity, not bulky. Roughages given to animal in large quantity, they are bulky. Concentrate easy to digest because of less crude fiber. Roughages difficult to digest, more crude fiber. Concentrate suitable for non-ruminant. Roughages suitable for ruminant. Concentrate high nutritive value. Roughages low nutritive value. Concentrate expensive. That one cheap. Then let us look at the examples of protein rich in concentrate. The examples of protein rich concentrates mostly are meals. We have got legume, seeds, oil cake meal, soya bean, carcass meal, bone meal, and fish meal.
All right, so we're just going to interrupt you there quickly for a couple of minutes as we are going into news headlines and your sports. And of course, we will be back with Mr. Mpapuri continuing with Agricultural Sciences Term 1. Feed components. Remember that if you have questions, the number is 0826542446.
This is a message from the Department of Employment and Labour. Is your employer paying you the national minimum wage? If you are not paid the national minimum wage of 20 Rand 76 per hour, 18 Rand 68 per hour for farm and forestry workers, 15 Rand 57 per hour for domestic workers, and 11 Rand 42 per hour for workers under the expanded Public Works program, please dial *134*305# for free and follow the prompts. The Department of Employment and Labour, working for you.
News headlines on Capricorn FM.
Let's look at news making headlines now. Some concerned students from the Letaba TVET College Guyana campus have expressed their frustration of the non-payment of the National Student Financial Aid Scheme allowances. The National African Farmers Union's Deputy President in Limpopo, Thomas Ramaloko, says government is not doing enough to help livestock farmers deal with the foot and mouth disease. And Gauteng Premier David Makura says the province is putting final measures in place in preparation for Level 3 lockdown regulations. Your final bulletin at 6 p.m.
Capricorn FM Sports, on and off the field. We've got you covered.
And now for your final look at your sports today. Absa Premiership side SuperSport United confirmed the departure of club captain Dean Furman while paying tribute to the 31-year-old midfielder. The Bafana Bafana International brings an end to a successful spell at Matsatsanza, having joined the club in August 2015. Furman lifted both the Nedbank Cup and MTN8 trophy on 2 occasions and led the club to 7 finals while making 155 appearances. Furman is currently in quarantine in London as he is awaiting the birth of his first child. Meanwhile, Celtic are crowned champions for a record 9th consecutive
consecutive season after the Scottish Premiership campaign was declared over yesterday. Nils Lennon men were 13 points clear at the top of the table when the season was stopped due to the coronavirus pandemic in March, with 8 games remaining for most of the clubs. The 3 league below the Premiership were ended over a month ago when clubs passed a controversial resolution that allowed the Scottish Professional Football League to also bring the top flight to a halt if it deemed the games could no longer be played. Celtic coach Neil Lennon has expressed his joy over the decision of winning the championship.
You know, we want to stay in front of our supporters, but obviously that's not been possible. It is a momentous day for the club. We have supporters of a certain vintage. You'll remember the first time Celtic did 9 in a row. They probably couldn't believe that this could happen again, and it's a fantastic day for everyone associated with the club, and we're all very, very proud, particularly of the players.
And meanwhile, in cricket, Proteas batsman Aiden Markham has expressed his desire to be the next captain of the South African Test team. Faf du Plessis' resignation as captain in February has led to a great deal of speculation on who will be granted the new responsibility, especially after CSA announced that Quinton de Kock will only captain the limited overs team. Markham, who has captained the Proteas ODI team in the past, is one of the players in the frame to replace du Plessis, with Dean Elgar, Themba Bavuma, Rassie van der Dussen and Kavesh Maharaj emerging as other possible candidates.
I really enjoy captaincy. I enjoy the responsibilities that come with it. I've been able to watch from franchise captains through to a guy like Faf captain. It's just something that I would love to do. Having said that though, I mean, I've never given a captain in my country too much thought. It's always been a bit of a shot in the dark for me. But now that sort of the name is in the hat, look, it's just nice to be considered. Like I said, I do really love it, and I would give an absolute arm and a leg to be able to do it.
And finally, criticizing US President Donald Trump's handling of the COVID-19 crisis, world number 1 Rory McIlroy says he doesn't think he will ever tee up again with the US president. McIlroy, who's from Northern Ireland but has a home in Florida, voiced his opinions about the US president's recent comments, adding that he thinks Trump is making the whole coronavirus thing a political issue. McIlroy received a criticism back in 2017 after accepting an invitation to play around with the then recently inaugurated president.
I'll stand here and I'll sit here and say the day that I did spend with him and others was very enjoyable, but that doesn't mean that I agree with everything or in fact anything that he said. We're in the midst of something that's pretty serious right now, and the fact that he's trying to politicize it and make it a campaign rally and say that we administers the most tests in the world like it's a contest, there's some stuff that just is terrible, and it's not the way a leader should act. I don't know if he'd want to play with me again after what I just said.
And this is all your sports for today. I'll be back with more tomorrow morning on the Go Breakfast with Complexion in Mpomashita. For more updates, follow at Capricorn FM News on Twitter. And for Capricorn FM Sports, I am Kamarelo Namalani.
Keeping you up to date with the latest sports news. Capricorn FM Sports.
This lesson is proudly brought to you by Kagiso Trust in partnership with the Limpopo Department of Education and Capricorn FM. Kagiso Trust, overcoming poverty.
All right, of course, hashtag Kagiso Radio Teacher, still speaking to future landowners. In studio with us is Mr. Mpapuri, of course, discussing agricultural sciences term 1, component feed. Right?
All right, thank you very much, Program Director. I was still talking about the 2 types of concentrates. We have got concentrates that are rich in protein and concentrate that are rich in carbohydrates. Then let us look at the examples of protein that are rich, example of concentrate that are rich in protein. In plants, we've got legumes and all cake meal, while in animal, we've got carcass meal, bone meal, and fish meal. Then carbohydrates rich concentrate are maize meal, oat meal, barley meal, rye, and sorghum. Then we've got another 2 types of roughage: protein-rich roughage and carbohydrate-rich roughage. Examples of protein-rich roughage, we've got lucerne and silage hay. While examples of carbohydrate-rich, we've got oats hay, maize meal hay, and barley hay. Then let us switch over to another topic, which is called biological value of protein. It is also known as BV. Then what is biological value of protein? Biological value of protein refers to percentage of absorbed nitrogen which is retained in the animal body. A protein that provides all amino acid required by the animal have high biological value and is referred as an ideal protein. I will repeat this. Biological value of protein refers to the percentage of absorbed nitrogen which is retained in the animal body. A protein that provides all amino acids required by the animal will have high biological value and is referred as an ideal protein. Then the biological value ranges from 0 up to 100. Then we've got two types of amino acid, essential amino acid and non-essential amino acid. Then essential amino acid are amino acid that animal obtain from its feed, while non-essential amino acid are those that can be synthesized by body. This is the difference between essential and non-essential amino acid. Essential amino acid are amino acid that the animal must obtain from its feed. Non-essential amino acid are those that can be synthesized by the body. Then let us look at the main aim of calculating the energy value of feed. We calculate the energy value of feed allows farmer to determine the following: animals' diet, feeding standard, and ration formulation. Then let us look at supplement now. Let us look at the word supplement. What are supplement? Supplement are substances that are added to a normal ration when they are absent or lacking from the ration. Supplement are substances that are added to a normal ration when they are absent or lacking from the ration. This ensures that the animal get all nutrients required for growth, production, and a healthy body. Then let us look at the examples of supplements that we have. We have got minerals, vitamins, non-protein nitrogen, growth stimulant, and synthetic amino acid. These are type of supplement or example of supplement that can be supplemented to the ration of animal. Then let us look at the method that are used to supplement this mineral. We've got 5 methods that are used to supplement this mineral. The first one is mineral links, supplement mixed with concentrate, supplement mixed with drinking water, dosing, and injection. 5 methods used to supplement minerals. Number 1 is mineral links. Number 2, supplement mixed with concentrate. Number 3, supplement mixed with drinking water, dosing, and the last one is injection. Then let us look now at planning a feeding program. Planning a feeding program or feed flow program. Planning a feeding program, or what we call feed flow program. Then what is feed flow program? This refers to a way of measuring the requirements of farm livestock and balancing this with the farm ability to produce the correct crops as nutrients. This refers to a way of measuring the requirements of farm livestock and balancing this with the farm ability to produce the correct crops as nutrients. And we have got 2 types of ration under feed flow program. The first one is maintenance ration, and the other one is production ration. Then what is the difference between the two, between maintenance ration and production ration? Maintenance ration refers to a sustaining of animal state good of health. The maintenance ration is the total quantity of food that is required to keep the animal's mass constant. Then production ration. Production ration is the part of the ration that is supplied over above the maintenance ration. This allows the animal to produce product and energy. This is the difference between maintenance ration and production ration. Maintenance ration are type of feed that is given to animal only to maintain the body mass. But production ration, they are given to animals that are producing something, for an example, eggs, milk, wool, etc., etc. Then let us look at another method now, which is used for planning of feeding program. It is called Pearson Square Method. The method is called Bsn Square Method. Then Pearson Square Method is used to determine the nutritional value of feed mix. In other words, here the farmer wanted to mix two feeds in order to get the desired protein for a certain animal. The farmer is mixing two feeds in order to get the desired protein for certain animal. Then the farmer uses this square called Pearson Square. Then let's take for an example. A farmer wishes to give his cows an additional ration that has a digestible protein value of 18%. He intends to mix two feeds to get the desired DP of 18. Then feed A is having 14% and feed B is having 25%. Then here you are expected to draw a square. You are expected to draw a square and follow the 5 rules. We are having the desired protein, which is 18%. We are having feed A and feed B. Feed A is 14%, feed B is 25%. Then after having the information above, a learner must draw a square and follow the 5 rules. Rule number 1. The percentage of feed A is written on the top left-hand corner of the square. The percentage of feed A is written on the top left-hand corner of the square. Rule number 2. The percentage of feed B written on the bottom left-hand corner of the square. Percentage of feed B written on the bottom left-hand corner of the square. Then desired protein is written in the middle of the square. Then the arrow of feed A descend from left to right. This helps the learner to subtract. Then the arrow of feed B ascend from left to right. Then the first question will say, give the parts of feed A and feed B. Then by giving the parts of feed A, the learner needs to subtract. Parts of feed A, the learner will say 14. The learner will subtract 14 from 18. Then the parts is going to be 4 parts of feed B. Then parts of feed A, the learner subtract 18 from 25, which is going to give us 7 parts of feed A. Is the first question. Then the second question will say, give the ratio of feed A is to B. The ratio of feed A is to B is 7 parts of A is to 4 parts of B. The ratio is going to be 7 parts of A is 4 parts of B. Then another question will say, calculate the percentage of feed A and feed B. Then by calculating the percentage of feed A and feed B, the learner needs to add the parts together before he or she can calculate. He will say 7 plus 4, which is going to give us 11. Then the learner will say percentage of A is equals to 7, which is the parts of A, divided by 11, multiplied by 100. Then when finding percentage of B, you will follow this very same step, which is 4 over 11 multiplied by 100. Is question number 3 that can be asked in this Pearson square. Then again, the question can say calculate the amount of each feed in the 600 kg bag of this feed. Then after finding the percentage, let's take for instance the percentage of feed A was, let's say, 69%. Then the percentage of feed B, let's say, was 31%. Then the question says find the amount. We are going to say 69% of feed A multiplied by 600, which is 600 kg, divided by what? By 100. It's going to give you the answer. Then when you want to find the amount of feed B, you are going to say 31% multiplied by 600 over 100. You will get the answer. Then the last question will say the price now. Find the price of each feed. If the feed maybe is costing 1,000 rand, you will do the same as finding the amount. You are going to say percentage of feed A multiplied by 1,000 over 100. You will find the price of feed A. And again, you are going to say, if you are supposed to find the price of feed B, you are going to say 31% multiplied by 1,000 over 100. You will find the price of feed B. Then here with me, I've got some questions, previous question papers, as far as the topic I was discussing. We have got the question here, which based on the energy value of the feed. The question says the diagram below is a schematic representation of energy flow in the farm animal. Then the first square was GE, which stands for gross energy. Then the second square was DA, which stands for digestible energy. And we all know that we've got 4 types of energy value. Then there is A and B. There is square A and B. And square A and B, it is they are unnamed. Then from GE to DE, there is an arrow which indicates loss of energy. And from DE to A, again, there is an arrow which indicates loss of energy. Then from A to B, again, there is an arrow which indicates loss of energy. Then the question was, refer to the schematic diagram representation above. Identify A, B, C. Then from GE to DE, there is energy which is lost, and the energy which is lost through physis, which means the answer for A is physis. Then from DE from digestible energy to metabolic energy, the box of metabolic energy was B, which means B stands for metabolic energy. And from metabolic energy to net energy, there is energy which is lost through heat, and which means the box for C stands for what? For heat. Then again, we've got another question. The question is a table which indicates the type of feed. We've got 4 types of feed: the maize, the fish meal, lucerne, and the barley. And we've got the biological value. The biological value of maize is 60, fish meal 90, lucerne 75, barley 50. The energy value there of maize is 80, of fish meal is 30, of lucerne is 45, of barley is 60. Then the first question says, identify with a reason a feed in the table above that will be suitable for the growing of calves. Then you must look at the biological value, at the percentage of biological value there. We have said biological feed value ranges from 0 to 100. And a feed which has got biological value of 100, it has got high BV. Then when we look at this, fish meal is the one which is having 90 biological value, which means the biological value of a fish meal, there is more protein, and protein is responsible for growth, which means the answer there is going to be fish meal. Number B, cattle fattened for sale. Then we are going to look at more energy now, because maize meal contains more energy, and the most important function of energy is to fatten the animal, which means the answer is going to be maize meal. Non-producing cow, we're going to look at the biological value, because biological value indicate protein which is found in that type of feed. Then when we look at barley, it has got 50 biological value, is the less amount of biological value, which means the answer is barley. Then again, we've got another question. Again, is feed composition, feed intake, and feed excreted. We have given the moisture. Under feed composition, we've got moisture, crude protein, crude fiber, and minerals. Another column, we've got feed intake. Moisture is 7.7. Moisture, feed intake of moisture is 7.7. Crude protein is 5.0. Crude fiber is 78. Mineral is 4.0. Feed excreted, moisture 3.8. Crude protein 3. Crude fiber 72. Mineral 2.2. Then the first question, identify the feed component that has the lowest absorption rate. Automatically is crude fiber, because only 4% of the feed was absorbed by the animal. Then give reason from the table why feed above cannot be recommended for milk production, because of low protein and high in crude fiber. Then calculate the dry matter of the feed in kg. When we look at the table below shows the feed composition, feed intake, and feed excreted by the cow that consume 5 kg with moisture content of 15%. We're going to say 5 multiplied by 15 over 100. Then we're going to get 1.5 if I'm not mistaken. Then we subtract 1.5 from 15. Then we'll get the dry matter of the feed. Then we've got another question. The question is a ration with crude fiber protein of 13 is required in the production enterprise. The Pearson Square Method was used to balance this ration as illustrated below. Maize meal is 11%. Soya bean is 44%. The parts of maize meal is 31%. And that one of soya bean is 2%. Then the first question, calculate the percentage of maize meal. I already said to calculate you must first add the parts of feed A and feed B, which means the parts of maize meal is 31 and the parts of soya bean is 2. We are going to say 31 plus 2, which is give us 33. Then you will say 31 over 33 multiplied by 100. You will get the answer. If you want to calculate the percentage of soya bean, we are going to say 2 over 33 multiplied by 100. It's going to give you the answer. Then the last question, calculate the cost of soya bean meal if 285 kg of the ration is mixed. The percentage of, you are going to say percentage of soya bean meal multiplied by 285 divided by 100. Percentage of soya bean meal multiplied by 285 kg divided by 100. You will find the cost of soya bean meal in the mixed ration. Then let us look at another question there. There is a table, types of feeds, even the biological value. Most of the questions repeat themselves. Type of feeds, biological value, fish meal 90%, soya bean meal 70%, wheat 60%, peanut meal 75%, maize meal 55%, bone meal 75%. The first question indicates the relationship between biological value and the quality of the feed. The higher the biological value, the more the quality of the feed. 2.4.3 or question number 2, identify the feed with the lowest biological value. You just check the percentage of biological value on the table. The one with the lowest is 55, which is maize meal. The answer is maize meal. Determine the suitability of feed, identify in 2.4.3 for animal production. Because it's maize meal, it will be there for energy supply, fattening and maintenance. Explain why it is important to feed pigs with feed that has high biological value, because they are rich in protein and they are concentrates, because pig is a non-ruminant and it digests concentrates better than roughage. Then the last question below is a schematic representation of components of feed. And then the first column was feed, and the second column was water and A. Then the answer of A is moisture, because a feed consists of water plus moisture. Then under A we've got organic matter, and another column is B, which means the answer of B, the feed consists of organic and inorganic, which means the answer of B is inorganic. Then the last answer of C was vitamins, because feed consists of carbohydrates, protein, lipids, and vitamins.
Alrighty, that is the lesson. Actually, very impressed with the number of questions that are coming in today, and it's understandable that we are operating on limited time, but what we are going to do is we're not going to leave your questions unanswered. We will forward them to the hashtag Kagiso Radio Teacher. He will take a good look at your questions, and probably on his next lesson he will come and start with those before getting into the lesson of that particular day. Thank you so much for sending through your questions. Mr. Mpapuri here for Agricultural Sciences. And that is how we wrap up the show for today. Thank you so much.
This lesson was brought to you by Kagiso Trust in partnership with the Limpopo Department of Education and Capricorn FM. Kagiso Trust, overcoming poverty.
We're making way right now for Progressive Talk with Ngamula Chauke, all the way up until 8 o'clock. We shall meet again tomorrow. All right?
Goodbye.